All right, welcome everybody, and glad to have you on this Zoom call and Facebook live call, the first that I'm having of 2024. And I basically entitled this "Be Do and Have More" in 2024. Typically, people are interested in losing weight, feeling better, making more money. We typically have some type of health obligation or health resolution. Some people do vision boards. In the past, in years past, I've done vision boards. However, people get there, it's really a matter of how do we start new? What else? What do we do that's different? So I want to share some things. I want to do a few things today. And that's one, I want to share my journey. And number one New Year's resolution is for people to lose weight. Probably close to that is for people to be in better shape and or make some health improvements. So if someone has high blood pressure, they want to bring that down. If their cholesterol is poor, they may want to address that. Or their energy, they don't feel good, they don't look the way they want to do. So we typically want to tap in and see where we are personally, and then make some changes or improvements around that. And when we can do that, then it's easier to do other things, right? It's not as easy to accomplish things in the world, to feel at our best, to be the most vibrant or assertive, self-actualized person if we don't feel good. So we're going to start with the feeling good. And again, I'm going to share some things that I have done personally and that I've shared with tens of thousands of people over more than 30 years through the Detroit Holistic Center and through the outreach and the interactions that I've had with people in the public through radio and personally, and et cetera. And then I'm gonna talk about what's happening now. What's the phase since Detroit Holistic Center closed, and we have the Holistic Training Institute, and what people can do online, with the opportunities online where people can help themselves, their loved ones, their community, be professionals. And I want to, take a couple of questions or so, as well answer some of the most commonly asked questions that people have to get them started. So, welcome 2024, and I look forward to seeing you. This is on Zoom calls and or in courses as we go forward. So first, kind of my personal journey and some things that sparked some profound changes in my life. Like many of you, 2020 was a really revealing year. 2020 was a year where they got everybody's attention, right? Everything shut down because of COVID-19. And that was amazing. It was a shock to everyone. The average person hadn't anticipated, even though there were rumblings and there was information and some research out there saying that it was a possibility that we could have some real serious type health issues that resulted in the pandemic, going on, things that happen in other parts of the world. And so I guess it was kind of our turn in the US as well, but this was devastating for a lot of people. So it caused things to shut down. It did something that the healthcare system or no healthcare or holistic providers could have done. Said, wait a minute, stop the world, stop everything, hold up, because we better take care of this. Otherwise we're going to not only lose lives, we'd lose a lot more lives. So I might get it all into the vaccinations and things that people did, but it caused us to, I want to emphasize the fact that it caused us to stop and for a lot of people take assessment. And yes, a lot of people got sick, contracted COVID. Many people passed, millions of people passed away. And there was a shift or a change that happened that had never occurred before, that caused a lot of people to assess where they were and what they were going to do going forward. And of course, and I'll say personally, having stopped the bit, my business, my clinic, and not seeing clients, I was able to take a pause and look at not just what I couldn't do, but what I could do. And so after, kind of being in isolation, being in the house, I live alone, being in the house alone and not going to the store, not doing a lot of the recreational, social types of things I would normally do. I started thinking about what I could do. And so I said, well, what can I do? I'm not going to the gym, but I could go outside. And so I said, well, I'm going to start going outside. And I started at a point somewhere in there, that's probably April or so of 2020. I started going outside and running. And then I would go to a place not too far away, and I would run. Started running up to 6 miles, and I got to a point where I was running every day, 6 miles, 6 miles, 6 miles a day, 7 days a week, and that really helped me to deal with the isolation. It helped me to deal with the changes and adjust and not sit up and feel sad or just watch television or eat, much less overeat. That's what we usually do when we're at home a lot. So I got active, and secondly, a major change in something that helped me in my healing, in my transition, in my adjusting and coping to this stress and change. And so there's lessons here about changing or making adjustments when it comes to change, when it comes to stress, when it comes to much less radical uh, uh, changes or radical um, interruptions and stresses in the life. Is, what do we do? How do we deal with that? And then that some of these same actions help me to lose weight as well. So one, getting outside, exercising, breathing. I could social distance when I was doing that. That's one thing I did. Secondly, I started preparing food, preparing all my own food. I didn't do whatever Grubhub or the carry out, that sort of thing. I went to the store, uh, sometimes two and three times a week, to get fresh produce and prepared my own meals. And then sometimes on the weekends, and oftentimes on the weekends, I would make a soup, make a large pot, do a crock pot dish, and eat from that, and make sure that I always had something healthy and nutritious. So in between my runs, I'm doing this. I'm making smoothies. Okay. So I could order some things like, sometimes I went to the store, other times I ordered some things on Amazon, but I would get my smoothie mixes as well, so that, after I did a run, I usually don't eat before I run. And I'm running in the mornings, more most often. So I would have my smoothie. And then later on in the day, I have whatever, my soup, or, have some nourishing meal. And and over a few months, over about, if it was April up until about June, July or so, my weight it was dropping. I would say effortlessly, but of course the running and those things were effort, but I wasn't counting calories. I wasn't doing some of the things that people normally do. I wasn't really focused on the weight, but the weight was naturally coming off. My stress level was down, and then everything and things were just kind of falling in line. I was sleeping better, feeling energetic, feeling more optimistic, and really finding another level of balance and another level of awareness that I hadn't had in a long time. Many times, if people didn't have to take a vacation, if there wasn't a holiday or a break or something, sometimes people would just keep on working. And we need to look at that and really monitor to that because we do need rest. Okay. That's an essential element in our healing, in our wellness. Um, so it was 2020 that really started it, but here it is more, years later, my weight is maintained. And most people who lose weight, they lose that 10, 20 pounds or whatever, gain it back or gain it back and even add some on. Why does that happen? So so the first part I'm gonna share or emphasize more on and kind of give you the structure and say, these are some of the essential elements that happen to help me to lose weight that actually go right in line with some things that I've been sharing with people over years anyway. But here's some essential keys to losing weight too. And if you don't want to necessarily lose weight, it's still some things that will help you to be fit and to get your number in line as well. Because losing weight is one thing. Okay. You can lose weight in healthy ways, you can lose weight in ways that are not as healthy. Or you don't just want to lose weight, like people can get surgery and lose weight. But when your numbers, when your blood pressure, when your blood sugar, when your cholesterol and those other things are also in line, then we are losing weight in a healthy way and doing things that also lower our risk factors too. Okay. So I kind of have this formula that I lay out. I'd say it was about plants, and that is plant-based eating. So when I was again shopping and preparing my foods, what was I doing? It was the fruits, it was the vegetables, it was the grains, all fresh, and I was preparing it myself. Why is that important as well? Because when you go out to eat, you don't know what other things are in there. When your foods are processed, you don't know what's in there. And many of the processed foods and then the animal products, there are things that will cause us to lose weight and cause our numbers and our blood pressure and everything to um go in the wrong direction. Okay. So a key essential element is eating plant-based, and then two, preparing that yourself. Um, Sometimes people say, well, my parents, my grandparents, whatever they ate, whatever they wanted to, X, Y, and Z. I know that in my household and in most of my friends' homes and my relatives, people were preparing foods at home. And when you do that, you're looking at for the freshest things, and you're not adding chemicals and preservatives and those things. So plant-based, preparing things at home, planning the meals as well. So when I'm preparing it, I'm thinking about what I'm going to have, and automatically eliminating things that I don't don't want, don't need. Okay. I wasn't getting a lot of snacks and those types of things. I wasn't binging on that as I've heard so many people talk about they're sitting at home and in binging or eating whatever and in front of the television and gaining weight. Okay. Sometimes they talk about COVID-19. They say that people gained 19 pounds during COVID. Most people did not lose weight. So preparing plants, um, and then the other, and I kind of call it the the peeing and the pooping as well. Um, Drinking water, getting enough water, not just juices and fluids, but I increase my water. The exercise helped me to increase my water. I mean, water never tastes better than after you've had a run or a vigorous exercise session. Okay. Those of you who've done it know what I mean. So I was increasing my water, was helping to curb my appetite, flush my body, refresh myself, prepare my palate, and get me away from the need to always have something sweet. Okay, some people are really addicted to sweets, And if you're always drinking juices instead of drinking water, you're going to have more of a sweet taste, and you're going to tend to, your blood sugar level is going to tend to be affected by that. So, hydration relates to peeing, and monitoring, even monitoring that. So, you can monitor the color and the amount that you're urinating. You've got to perspire. You've got to urinate in order for your body to cleanse, in order for your body to function as it needs to. And then pooping. Most people don't talk about this. And of course, dealing with people, for those of you who know me through Detroit Holistic Center, through the work that I do with colon hydrotherapy and digestive health, I would talk about pooping. I talk about the elimination. What does it look like? It's something that we avoid, and that's an unfortunate reality, especially since most of the problems that people have, they start with the digestive system, one. Secondly, many of the office visits that we go to, many of the times when people go to doctor or go to hospital, it's related to the digestive system. Anywhere from chronic gastritis to irritable bowel syndrome to Crohn's to chronic constipation, any number of different conditions that relate to the gut. In fact, again, a lot of our health problems begin with the gut, and you'll hear more about gut biome and the importance of the digestive system. So we've got to make sure that we are um, examining what we eat and what we're eliminating as well. In another session or so, I'll talk about what does good elimination look like, what about gut health, the digestive system, those types of things. So we'll have some measure and something to assess and understand where we're at. So we're at lower risk for digestive problems. We're at lower risk for the second leading cause of deaths from cancer, colon cancer or colorectal cancer. And that we're feeling better and setting the stage for a good, solid health regimen. Okay. So, pooping, as you exercise, as you get more healthy, then your elimination should necessarily increase in size and bulk and consistency. And the odor should change as well, by the way. And then let's see, and then perspiration. Okay. So the exercise is part of the perspiration. Well, it's not just how many steps that you have. I did 10,000 steps today. Okay, good. Okay. But are you perspiring? Are you getting to the point where the body is heating up? The body that you're not just burning, you're burning calories, but you are really activating your organs, your systems. Is your body and your lymphatic system really being activated so that your circulation improves, your immune system improves, so that your kidneys, your liver, everything is functioning at its optimum in order for you to have better health, better numbers, in including or in addition to the weight loss. So the way we measure health is, how is our breathing? We have the different systems in the body. How's your breathing? How's your heart rate? How's your circulation? How's your immune system? How are your body rhythms functioning? And that only happens when we really press it, when we move it, not just when we're casually moving around, not just taking steps, not just walking around at work, or I walk all the time. I walk all day at work. So what? If you're not perspiring, you're not doing a whole heck of a lot. So we want to get you to the point where you're perspiring as well. And then persistence. It's kind of, some of you will notice that it was kind of, it was P's to this program: plants, pee, poop, perspire, and the other P is persist. Is keeping on and doing things and being on a regimen and long term, not just short term. We're not talking about a 10-day cleanse or a 30-day fast or challenge or something like that. If you want to have long-term results, if you want to improve your chances for longevity, you got to persist. A reason why my weight is about where I was in high school 4 years after the pandemic is because of persistence, is because I started on a regimented program that the elements of which I'm still maintaining today as vitally important. If you want to live, most of the reasons why people die and die prematurely are because of diet and lifestyle. And if we want to change the numbers and the outcome and not just blame it on genetics or something else, then we got to take an active role in what we do from day to day. So if there are anybody in the chats or anybody on Facebook that has a question or something that let me know, and I'm going to ask my co-host to shoot that over to me in the chat so I can address those as well. So hopefully you got that first part. Was that plant-based diet is vitally important, and the more you know, the more that we find out, the more information we get, the more research that's done on what it takes for health and longevity, the more that we find that people in the US and around the world, the more or closer we are to a plant-based diet. I'm not even going to say vegetarian or vegan per se, because it has different connotations for different people, you know. Years ago, when I said I was vegetarian, oh, are you ovo, lacto? What about this? What about that? Plant-based with the plant-based, and let me clarify this. Plant-based means that the majority of the foods that you eat come from plants, come from nature, come as nature presented it and before all this processing. Okay. That's the majority of what we do. It's what we do most of the time that makes the greatest difference, not just what we do some of the time. Okay. So again, so being plant-based and then or plant-based eating typically will address so many different things. I'm not going to delineate every chronic ailment that's out there, but pretty much when people go plant-based, they see changes in their health, positive changes in their health in a variety of different ways. I can give you references, and as we go forward, I'll give you more references in places where you can find if you want more documentation, if you want the sciences and the studies and the make it in all that, that will give more clarity and give you more of an understanding of what and why that is and how um, that is the case. Okay, so one, plant-based. Two, peeing or urination. We've got to drink more water. I'm gonna say most people are not drinking nearly enough water, not hydrated enough in order to flush the body. In couple of things that happen there is one, when you're drinking more water, when you're hydrating the body, then all your cells and everything get what they need, and we have less of a tendency to eat when we're actually just thirsty. Okay, so I'm going to tell you to do something that perhaps your mother told you not to do. Don't drink before your meals. Yeah, drink water before your meals, because if you're actually just thirsty, but you eat instead of drinking water, or eat before you drink your water, then many times people overeat. So we need more hydration than we need. We need more water than we need food. You don't need to eat the same way as you did when you're 16. You're not as active. For those people who are mature, you need as much. So make sure that the hydration is there as well. And then our elimination fiber, in having a plant-based diet, increasing the amount of fiber that we have in our diet. It helps our digestive health, helps to curb our appetite, helps to improve our elimination, helps us to avoid again, digestive problems and then immune system problems and so many things along with that. Okay. So we want to have good digestive health. You want to have less gas and bloating. You want to have you want to avoid many of the risks and things that they come. I'll even say the heart and cardiac concerns. Increased fiber, cholesterol, elevated cholesterol. You need more fiber, and that comes from plant-based foods. You want to let's see, from you want to improve your immune system, get more fiber. You want to get more toxins in the waste side of the body. It's fiber. Fiber is the key, an essential element, and you'll know you're getting enough fiber when the size, the bulk, the consistency of your waste increases, and yeah, and you feel better. And many times people that midsection that we tend to fight with, that belly fat, will tend to decrease as well. Okay. And then perspire. Now, usually, and I go to the gym very often, 5, 6 days a week typically. Usually what happens is people start in the gym in January, and then February, March, by the time we get in there, getting around to the first holiday around Easter or something, people have dropped off. They're no longer on program. You gotta, we gotta do that. If you really want to do something helpful, you don't just want to stop and start. Got to go beyond that. In fact, we say summer bodies are created or made in the winter. So you take that winter and you keep on. You keep that discipline. January, February, March. If you can keep it 30 days, good. 60 days, better. 90 days, great. And if you keep a habit for 90 days, it's a very good chance that you're going to do it longer than that. It's going to be more of a permanent change or habit. And that's what we're looking for. We're looking for long-term success, not short-term. Okay. So again, and questions from the anybody have any questions? I'm looking. I'll be looking in the chat. So if you do, then now is a good time to ask them. So that's that's the story of my journey, how I've lost weight and how I'm maintaining it for years later. And what we find statistically is when we do things long term like that, our healthfulness, our ability to reverse disease, our chances for longevity increase dramatically. Too often we say, oh, I'm 30, I'm 40, I'm 50 or whatever. And so I'm just getting old and we expect to have poor health. Well, that doesn't have to be the case. It's how we live. Your cells don't know how old you are. Okay. Treat them as you would treat them as well or better than you would your car. If you want your car to last a long time, that's why you get your oil changed, you tune up and those types of things. And the same thing we need to do with the body is make sure we're doing seasonal, we're doing annual, we're doing regular maintenance and care as though we expect to live, expect the car to run a long time, or expect our bodies to last 100 years or so. And they typically don't, but I hope to, and I hope that many of you will join me in making that a reality as well. Okay, so that's one. Two, so for those people who are interested in going on a journey and they need some support. If you need some support, if you need some encouragement, if you need a plan, if you say, oh, I tried this before, I tried different diets, I've tried everything, and I haven't been successful in the past, I encourage you to do a couple of things. One, make note of of what I shared here. Two, start making some changes in one or more of these areas that I've outlined. And then three, find at least one person who wants to accomplish the same thing as you do, or who is there. Maybe this person is even a little ahead of you and they have lost weight and they are on the right path. Partner with someone. When two or more are gathered, when at least two people get together and they're going in the same direction, okay, then it's a greater chance that they're both going to be successful. If I've got a workout partner, if I don't feel like working out, and um and they if I don't feel like working out and they're fired up and ready to go, then they're gonna encourage me. They're gonna say, "Come on, Jess. Okay, come on, Doc. Let's make it in. We said we're gonna do it. We said we're gonna be in there every day." So get at least two people. Now, if you can be three or four, or there's a group, so there's always somebody there working out. There's always somebody there to, that you can work with, that you can learn from, that's going to spot you, or it's going to encourage you. It's going to help you to push even better. Okay. There are a number of groups that are in or around. Now, I'm a runner. And so there's about 3 groups that I will run with. And I know that they're every day of the week that there's some people running. So I never have an excuse for why I can't get a run in. There's always going to be somebody who's out there. That can be kind of a lonely thing for people. I mean, it's not a team sport. Okay. But I know that there's always somebody I can get out there and run with, even if I'm not feeling it individually. So find a partner, or find some partners, or find some groups who are doing this, much less have been done it a long time, that you can learn from, that'll take you through the process. Something else, a couple other things that happen, because I'm also a marathoner, and people have asked me, it's like, how did you do that? How did you start, first start? If you're not running or not very physically active right now, don't think about doing a marathon. You don't even have to think about doing a something quite strenuous or something like that right now. Get into shape, get to a point, and work up from there. Maybe work towards your first 5K or 10K. I always do better if I've got a race or something ahead of me. But one of the things that I did especially before I did my first marathon, which was a number of years ago, and that is I went to doctor and I got a checkup, and I had him do everything. I said, Doc, my father had, heart problems, and there's, some of that runs in family. I'd like to get a thorough checkup. And they did everything, including a stress test. So I did get a thorough physical examination. I didn't just jump out there saying, "Oh, yeah, I feel good." I made sure that the doctor checked me out thoroughly. And then when I felt confident that I wasn't going to get out there and pass out or have a heart attack, then I got further and further into my regimen. And I go to my doctor on a regular basis. Yes, I do. Yep, I do. I'm holistic in my approaches. I'm holistic in my perspective and in my training and in my orientation, but I still take advantage of the medical, of the numbers and science and the information. I want to know scientifically where my numbers are at. I want to get that perspective, that medical perspective, but I'm gonna take a natural approach whenever I can. And that's all the time anyway. Okay. Let's see. Some Okay, so for those people again who want to make those changes, find some support, and I'll let you know that we got planned for the 25th on Thursday 25th of January, to start what I call the Motor City Cleanse. What is a Motor City Cleanse? A Motor City Cleanse basically incorporates the elements that I shared, that I've done, in a format, in a way that we'll do some online support and in guidance. You know, what is plant-based? What is plant-based eating? What do I do? What do I have for breakfast, lunch, dinner? What do I have for variety? How do I make the transition? How do I know I'm getting enough protein? That's what people always want to know. If you just eat plants, how do you get how do you get protein? Is this healthy for me? Do I have to count calories? And a number of different questions. I'll share with you. I've been for some of you know me and some of you may not know me as well, but I've through my clinic of over 32 years, we work with tens of thousands of people. I've consulted, did one-on-ones and did group sessions and taken people through cleanses and a lot of things over the years. So I've got a fair amount of experience in this. So I come to you from that base and from a person who has been very active and is um, and the proof is in the performance, I would say, as well. So you get support, you get some guidance, you'll get the some experts and some people who have um, who will share various elements in there. I'm not an expert when it comes to personal training and that, but I'll have some people who will share, about those elements as well. How do you get into a workout plan? Things, how to do some things and have the support so for longevity and for long-term success. That'll be the 25th. And then there's another opportunity for those people who've been asking about classes about herbs. And our number one, bar none, number one most requested courses are about herbs. What about medicinal herbs? Dr. Brown, what about medicinal herbs? And people still email me and say, me, what do you have for whatever? It could be ulcers or whatever, various conditions. And we hear a lot about herbs and medicinal herbs. You hear it's online, you're going to hear all kinds of things. Some good information, some not as good information. Some accurate, some incomplete. A lot of incomplete information will be out there. So we'll talk about what are medicinal herbs, how to use them, how do you select, how do you get good quality. I've done some sections on and did a video on when herbs don't work. Why wouldn't the herbs work? Herbs don't work. Medicinal herbs don't work. What do you mean? Well, there are some reasons why herbs may not work for you. Then, and so what do you need to consider in selecting herbs and utilizing herbs in what forms? How to use it internally, externally, what forms? Extracts, tinctures, this, that, and the other thing. How do you do that? And so that it is effective, so that they do work, and much less they work along with a holistic plan or program. Okay, because herbs and supplements aren't just meant to work alone. You don't just do anything that you normally would do. Don't eat whatever and not and don't eat properly and don't exercise or anything else and say, oh, I'm just going to take herbs and this is going to reverse or cure everything that I've got. How do you fit this into a holistic program? So on the 23rd and 24th, there'll be 2 levels of herbalism or herbology, the study of herbs and medicinal herbs. And I guarantee you, whether you're new to this or whether you're adding on and you got some background, you'll learn more about your body, your health, and the herbs than you've ever learned before, and in ways that you can utilize. And you'll be able to identify things that you can use for yourself, your family members, in your community, and will again help you to go along a path so that you get a stronger and stronger base of knowledge. Okay? That's kind of where I started, I'll say decades ago, and on this path and journey, not having any idea that I would do this professionally. Had no clue. I was working corporate and my undergraduate degree and was in something completely unrelated. And but once I discovered health and wellness and followed along this path, I was fascinated with it, and knew that that's something that I wanted to dedicate a significant part of my life to. And now most of my career has been about health and wellness, starting with concern for myself and particularly I'll say my family members. I'll say my family members and then myself, because when I was in my when I was in my 30s and when I was in my 20s and 30s, I didn't really have health concerns. Okay. But as I matured I saw more of my family members and more of my friends that I went to high school and college with having health concerns. And I wanted to make sure I stayed on top of that and followed a different path. So the 23rd and 24th of January start with, two classes in herbology or herbalism. And then the 25th we'll be talking about cleansing and weight loss, so Motor City Cleanse. And I invite you to join us. So you can there's a couple opportunities for you to, one, go to holistictraininginstitute.com. That's WH, if somebody can put that in the notes in there, WHOLISTIC training, TRAINING INSTITUTE.com, holistictraininginstitute.com. And it'll take you to our website. And from there, so here's an opportunity. First opportunity, and here's a freebie from me. You can get a free class on top herbs every home needs. So it's 10 herbs every home needs. That can be, if especially if that's herbs, medicinal herbs are new to you, that'll kind of give you intro and a start to utilizing herbs that you can have at your home. Just so we got drugs in our medicine chest, we can have herbs, we can have vitamins, nutrients. We can have things in there that will help to balance out a number of the conditions and a number of the common concerns that we have in our homes and in our families. So that's my gift to you and everyone who goes there. And then two, behind that, you'll also see information in there in regards to the courses, the Motor City Cleanse and the herbalism courses. And then three, you can reach me at holisticguru@gmail.com. That's WHOLISTIC guru@gmail.com. You can email me, and either I or one of my support team will respond to you if you have questions and need some assistance in terms of or questions in regards to something that's shared here or enrollment in being more involved. I also want to invite you to join our pages. Some of you are friends of mine on Jesse R. Brown on Facebook. We also have a Holistic Training Institute page on Facebook as well. And you'll and look for more information on Instagram and Instagram, maybe a little bit on TikTok, but in some other ways as well. Okay. If you would like to get our newsletter, then you can get our newsletter on. Okay, I see a question here. Okay, if you like to get our newsletter, then you can text the word holistic, WHOLISTIC, to 22828, and or send me an inquiry with send your name, your contact information, so we can add you to the newsletter. So regularly there'll be, again, tools, tips, techniques, and information as well on health and wellness. Now, I do have a question here. And someone asked, can I give a little insight into the importance of sweating and replenishing nutrients and minerals? So there are some, okay, so when we do sweat or when we do perspire, when we're running or active or something to the point of perspiration, what are we eliminating? So primarily fluids or water. There are some electrolytes that we'll lose as well. In fact, runners, especially if we run a long way, we get salty. We'll see some of the salts and some of the minerals coming out on the outside. So that's what we're losing. And I'll say that even more so than toxins. A lot of people think that if you go and do a sauna or something like that, you're losing toxins. Not typically. Detoxification is a different process, different things to go on. I'll cover that in a different section. But one, yes, you need to hydrate, as well as supplement. Many people need to supplement with electrolytes. Um, and I'll tell you, anytime, especially if I'm doing a very long run, I'm gonna have some electrolytes. If I do a marathon, I'm gonna have um, carbs and some electrolytes. Electrolytes or minerals are those things that help our body to conduct electricity. Okay. Sometimes when people get heart attacks or cramps and Charlie horses, those types of things, is because they don't have enough calcium, magnesium, the macro and or the micro uh, nutrients or minerals that we need. So just think of the minerals as being those things that help our body to conduct electricity, and our heart and our lungs and our breathing, everything else relies on electricity. It relies on that nerve impulse to occur. If that doesn't happen, then chances are, I mean, minimally, we're going to cramp or have some discomfort, and maximally, it could result in a heart attack, cardiac incident, or something. So we do need nutrient. Of course, we need our nutrients, we need our minerals, and we need them in forms of the body that are bioavailable, the body can use, they replenish us. Very important in in recovery and recuperation as well. And if people are exercising now, they say, "I'm so spent and I can't do anything for a day." You probably have you may have an absorption problem. You're not eating certain things, or you need supplementation, something that will help you. If you are performing and at a pretty high level, I'm probably one of those people who perform at a pretty high level, doing marathons, half marathons, and such, and getting faster and better over the years. Then you need a higher level of nutrients. The more demand that your body has, the more you're working, the more you're perspiring, the more exertion, the more demand your body has for nutrients, much less quality nutrients. Not just, and it's not just minerals. It's not just a supplement. It's more of a well-rounded program. And again, and I would say follow me. Be on the call on. Yeah, so we had this call today. We'll also have calls. I also have calls on the 13th and the 20th of January. And I'll be doing these things on a regular basis as well. I'll be doing empowerment courses or classes and sharing, as well as some things that will be for training people who are interested in doing things professionally. Okay. So, if there are any other questions, we're getting close to time here. So again, you can reach out to us, follow us on social media. Okay. Subscribe to our newsletter, or reach out through the website. I'm pretty sure you can. We just revised some things with the website and with our teaching platform. So reach out through website, reach out through holisticguru@gmail.com, and follow us on the calls. If this is something that you like, you want to see more of, hey, let me know and I'll keep on doing it. Okay. My goal and my role, Detroit Holistic Center is not going to reopen, by the way. I thank you for that. After 30 plus years, Detroit Holistic Center is not opening. There are some people who want to learn the things that we did through Detroit Holistic Center. Then you can reach out to me through one means or another, or if you need referrals, there are some places to do holistic therapies and such. I'd have to refer you for that, but that's not going to happen. Um, my role and goal is to share what I've learned and what we did over the years with other people who are going to keep those things on. Okay, I'm going into a different stage. But I want to thank all the people who, one, are on the call, two, supported Detroit Holistic Center over the years, and three, and I want to support you in your journey, because I know that a lot of people are missing that. A lot of people say, "Oh my God, I used to come there and do this and that." Well, guess what? I couldn't do it forever. I couldn't do it another 30 years, right? What am I going to be, 90 some years old and and doing it, couldn't do another 30 years. So that ship is passed. However, it's time for new generation. It's time for other people to take up that mantle and go from there. So I want to share with you how to empower yourselves, how to get employed, how to become entrepreneurs and take advantage of this health and wellness revolution, and um, how we can really address the health disparities and the wealth disparities that occur in our community, because we want generational wealth and generational health. Okay, and affirm that with me: generational health and wealth for future generations, not just for us and here and now, but for future generations as well. Okay, so towards training healers in every home and every family, and doing things that are going to make major differences in our community and our society. I thank you for being here, for participating, for supporting, for your current support, your past support, and your future support. I look forward to serving. Take care, be well, and we'll be signing off on this call. And best to you today and going forward. See you on another Saturday, another call, another course. See you.